good morning, and what's good, you beautiful people of Atlanta's Westside. Welcome to the 27th Virtual Transform Westside Summit. My name is Benjamin Early.
Hello, good morning. My name is Ebony Ford. Again, welcome 27th Virtual Transform Westside Summit.
I know
we
it's
still in the
minute,
game,
right? Look,
yes,
we
it
in
has.
this thing.
We in
this
it.
thing.
We are in it. Thank God
we've
for
got a great show planned for the folks this morning. Today we're highlighting Families First, which is a dynamic organization doing incredible work on the West Side to help improve the standard of life for families, not just on the West Side, but throughout Atlanta and beyond. And Ebony, I know you're going to be holding down that panel discussion, you know what I'm talking about, all the way from English Ave, West Side,
absolutely.
shouting,
West
doing
Side,
the thing
West
this
Side,
morning.
West Side, English Avenue. Anybody watching out there from English Avenue specifically, you know we love the whole West Side, we love the whole Atlanta.
Absolutely.
But English Avenue is very dear and near to my heart. That's my neighborhood. Appreciate y'all all watching. So yes, Families First, they've been in the game for 130 years.
It's crazy.
And what an honor to have them here today with Westside Future Fund talking to you good people. So yes, I will be moderating that panel. I'm excited. I can't wait. Just stay tuned for that.
Absolutely. And we're going to have big man on campus, John Numan, joining us a little bit later on in the show to give his final thoughts after the panel discussion. But in the meantime, look, we're trying to get our West Side residents started off on their day in the perfect way, you know what I mean? Getting our mindset prepared for taking on any challenges life might present to us on this Friday and heading into our weekend.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, it's about time for our Mind and Body segment with Ali Fit. Today we're featuring Miss Paige Gaines. And she is in studio with us this morning. Paige, where you at? You in here somewhere, Paige. Where you at? Where you at, Paige? Paige is the founder and CEO of 911 St. Jane. And here she is, Paige. We were looking for you. How you doing? You got lost in the sun.
I did, but I'm good. Good morning.
Actually, you come send it for me. Yeah, how you doing this morning?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, we're excited to have you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit more about 911 St. Jane, like how it got started, what it's all about.
Of course. So I am 30 years old now, but at the age of 22, I was actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And having that diagnosis and going through that process as a woman of color and as a Black woman, I recognized that there were a lack of resources. So I promised myself and my community that I would be that resource. So I've just been working hard, telling my story, learning as much as I can, and just giving back to my community and becoming that resource. So that's how it started.
That is awesome.
That's
Thank
powerful.
you. Thank you so much.
And we all know, you know, mental health is a big topic of discussion in the country right now.
Absolutely.
And for good reason. There's a lot of things that go on day to day, you know, where people just need a way to cope, a way to deal with it. And, you know, one thing that I learned about my own personal journey with mental health, because, you know, I struggled with depression and anxiety for like 5-6 years. And in overcoming my own journey, I discovered meditation, and I discovered, you know, all of these other things that, you know, are tools that can not replace. Look, if you got a diagnosis and the doctor telling you to do something, follow your doctor's instructions now.
Absolutely.
But these are definitely tools that can help work alongside anything that is medically recommended for you to do. So we highly encourage you to look into any type of treatment that you feel is right for you, that can work for your situation.
Absolutely.
And with that being said, Paige, we're gonna clear the stage for you and let you do your thing. Let me get you a seat, because I know you wanna be chill. I know you wanna relax a little bit. So that's what we're gonna do. Let's get you good here.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Do your thing. Appreciate you.
All right. Awesome. All right, good morning. So today we're going to practice meditation. I know many ways we don't know how to meditate or which way to go about it, but it's really just some moments to be with yourself. So today I ask that you get situated, get seated, get comfortable, and just find some time to ground yourself to where we feel safe and ready to take this space with our mind. So just take a few moments. If you want to sit on the floor, that's fine. If you're in a chair, that's absolutely fine. But again, just get comfortable. And we're going to take a big inhale through our stomach. Exhale through the mouth. Another big inhale. And exhale. And on this next inhale, we're going to do a count of 4. And if you're comfortable, please close your eyes. Inhale at 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale at 1, 2, 3, 4. And as we come and did our 3 breaths, I want you to pay attention to how relaxed your body may feel. I want you to pay attention to the breath running through your body. Feel that rising sensation of your chest and the falling sensation of your chest. Continuing your slow-paced breathing, I want to bring your attention to a quick body scan. And starting at the top of our head, we're just going to go down and scan our body, down through that neck, scan through those shoulders, finding any tension, scan through the back, down through the bottom, through your thighs. And as you scan, I want you to see if there's an underlying mood, an underlying emotion. If you're feeling anxious, I want you to breathe through that. I want you to inhale peace and exhale anxiety. Inhale something that you're grateful for. And exhale. And I'd like to remind you that if your mind wanders, that's quite okay. Return back to the breath. While continuing to breathe, if you found an underlying emotion or feeling, breathe through that. Practicing that breath in the counts of 2 all the way until 10. 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. And as we come to a close with our breath work, I'd like for you to say any positive affirmation that you may practice, any positive words that you may practice. I'd like for you to repeat that to yourself. Continuing to breathe. Take one last big inhale. Exhale and open your eyes. And thank you for joining the meditation.
Wow, that was powerful. Appreciate you, Miss
Yes,
Paige.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have
Absolutely.
a good one. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Miss Paige Gaines,
Paige
ladies and gentlemen,
Gaines,
911
absolutely.
St. Jane. Y'all can find her on social. But here we are.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
we
yes,
got some
that's-
bulletin information
Yes,
we
we
want to
do
go over
actually.
with you real quick.
Printing one out today, westsidefuturefund.org. And we have a PDF version. You can read it online. You can print it out. But go ahead and take a look at that. It has all the information you will need about what's going on the West Side. We want to call special attention to our board of directors that help us out on the West Side. And also, first of all, sorry about that, our vision, mission, and value statement. We are always here to try to create a community that Dr. King would be proud to call home. We're working on that every day. And then now our board of directors slide, sorry about that. Our awesome team supporting us at the Westside Future Fund. And also we have the dedicated team working directly for a Westside Future Fund. And also, we always want to talk about vaccinations. Vaccination. We're going to drill it in. You're probably going to get tired of it. But we are definitely getting the word out. Get vaccinated. You can go to libraries at this point. You can go to the CVS, drugstore, MBS, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Just get it done. Get the shots in your arms so we can get back to regular life or some semblance of it.
Absolutely. And with that being said, it's time for y'all to get connected with us, man. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to all of our channels. We got a lot of information that we like to continue to share with you going forward, so definitely stay engaged with us. Go ahead and drop a good morning in the comment section below if you're watching the video this morning of today's summit, and just stay in tune with us throughout the course of the program.
Absolutely. Do not forget about signing up for the gift card giveaway.
Absolutely.
That is, again, we definitely don't want you to miss out on that. WestsideFutureFund.org. On our homepage, go to Event Spotlight, RSVP, and then go ahead and again put your information in there by 8:15 so you can be entered into that drawing. Do the same thing to be entered into the drawing for the gift card for Goodwill of North Georgia as well.
All right. And that being said, time for the devotion. You know, it's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community, recognizing that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside revitalization effort. The time at the beginning of our meetings is an opportunity to share various inspirational reflections. While the speakers may articulate their personal faith, it's meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful, with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. Enjoy.
Well, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity to the Westside Future Fund. I'm Pastor Hurst here at the Mount Moriah Baptist Church, and we're going to talk this morning from the story of Nehemiah about building or rebuilding communities. The story of Nehemiah began long before his birth. As a matter of fact, it began in 538 BCE. That's when the Persian Empire overtook and conquered the Babylonian Empire. And if you remember, Israel had been in Babylonian captivity. Cyrus, the king of Persia, issued an edict after 70 years that he would release 50,000 Jews to go back to rebuild Jerusalem under the leadership of Zerubbabel. Upon their return to Israel, they found that the city that they left was not the city they returned to. The opulence of the city of King David is long gone, and the city lies in ruin. Nehemiah inquired about the people who had gone back, and he also inquired about those who were still far away in chapter 1. And that's the first thing that the story of Nehemiah teaches us about rebuilding community, and that is we must focus on others. Nehemiah was deeply concerned about his people, even those who were far away. His interest was not only for himself or his family, but his interest, his vision included all of God's people. And if we're going to rebuild this community, we're going to have to focus on the needs of others, all members of this community. Our community doesn't lie in ruin, but it's not the same vibrant and vivacious community that it once was. But the good news is that it can be. It's going to take all of us working together. Nehemiah had the support of the king of Persia at the time of his life, Artaxerxes. Artaxerxes sent resources with Nehemiah back to Jerusalem to rebuild the city. He sent money, materials, and men to help rebuild the community. And so it's going to take all of us, the haves and the have-nots, working together to rebuild this community. But not only must we focus on others if we're going to succeed at rebuilding this community, but the story of Nehemiah also teaches us that we're going to face opposition. And it teaches us how to face that opposition. Nehemiah had some opposition to the building project that was going on. Every time Nehemiah faced opposition in the book of Nehemiah, there was one character who was always present. His name was Sanballat. Sanballat was not an Israelite. He was an outsider. But for whatever reason, Sanballat did not want the work of rebuilding Jerusalem to be successful. So he threatened the work and the workers. He lied and spread rumors using propaganda to try to hurt and halt the work of rebuilding the city. And I think I need to tell you that we're going to have some opposition. Everybody's not going to be excited about the Westside Future Fund and those who are engaged in rebuilding this community. But we can face that opposition like Nehemiah and the people. They overcame their opposition because the text says in chapter 4 of the book that they had a mind to work. And we can overcome our ops, as the young people say, or our opponents, if we have a mind to work, a mind to make sure that each community member is active and engaged in the community to see it progress and prosper, a mind to work to make sure that our children receive a quality education in this community, because in this community they can go from the cradle to a PhD without ever leaving their community. We can have a mind to work to make sure that the schools are empowered with the resources and the support that they need to provide a quality education to all of our children. We need a mind to work to rebuild police and community relationships. A mind to work to make sure that each citizen understands their civic and communal responsibilities. But not only if we're going to rebuild this community does Nehemiah's story teach us that we must focus on others and that we're going to face opposition. But thirdly and finally, the story of Nehemiah teaches us that we must remain faithful to our obligations. The people have rebuilt the city, the walls, by the time we get to chapter 7, 8, and then they begin to celebrate and commemorate the work and the progress. They even had a celebration that included a consecration where they rededicated themselves to God and rededicated themselves to the community. And they were so serious about it that they put a covenant in writing that they would continue to be faithful to their Creator and community. But by chapter 13, the last chapter in the book, the people have started to regress back into the behaviors that caused the city to fall in the first place. So if we are going to rebuild this community, we must focus on others. We must face opposition, but we must remain faithful to our obligations, our commitment, remembering the words of Paul when he said, "Don't grow weary in well-doing, for you will reap a harvest if you faint not." Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you, we praise you, we honor you for the blessings of life and the blessings of this day. We thank you for the Westside Future Fund. We thank you for its officers, its staff, volunteers, its partners. We pray that you would empower them and enable them to focus on others, to face opposition, and to remain faithful to their obligations, to the end that you are glorified and magnified, and this community is edified and multiplied, and that the enemy would be horrified and petrified. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. God bless you.
Well, Reverend Eric Hurst, Mount Moriah Baptist Church, thank you so much for that inspirational message. If you want to participate in these summits, we love to have you. One thing that we love to say here at Westside Future Fund is we do with the community, not to the community. So if you would like to get involved with our summits, get involved with the organization, come and deliver a devotional message or any other thing that you like to be a part of in these summits, definitely reach out to us. We will get you on the program. We love doing with the community, not to the community, and we want to stay engaged. And now, Ebony, I know, like we said, you're going to be holding it down for the panel discussion.
Yes.
Pretty excited about this.
Yes,
we got Families First. Let's talk about it.
Yes, I am very, very excited. We do have Families First. Welcome back to 27th Virtual Transform Westside Summit. Again, it is time for the panel. As Benjamin mentioned, as we mentioned earlier, it's all about Families First today. Hey, panelists, how y'all doing this morning?
Good morning.
And I will introduce you individually, so I won't keep referring to you as panelists. But good morning. Very happy to have you here this early Friday morning. So we're going to jump right into it. Families First. We're going to start with Miss Ariel Fristow. Ariel, how are you doing?
Good morning, Ebony.
Good. You doing good? So I'm going to, sorry about that. I am going to go ahead and just read your bio just to make sure I don't leave anything out. You guys are awesome professionals, right? And you're going to hear more about what you do and as it pertains to Families First. You are the Advancement Committee member, founder and artistic director of Out of Hand Theater, and you are the winner of New York Times Best Theater of 2020. That's huge. And Ariel uses tools of theater to support and enhance the work of community partners such as Families First. So speaking of that, let's jump right into that. Tell us something about, a little bit about A Good Day, Ariel, and the power of art to connect us, and discuss how that influences social issues.
Well, thank you, Ebony. And let me first say I am thrilled to be here. Thank you all so much for having me. As Ebony said, I'm the artistic director of Atlanta's own Out of Hand Theater. At Out of Hand, we work at the intersection of art, social justice, and community engagement. We produce shows in homes. These are shows on social justice topics with cocktails and conversations with community partners, including shows on gun violence with Moms Demand Action and on mass incarceration with Georgia Justice Project. And in non-COVID years, we are normally in 40 to 50 living rooms all over Metro Atlanta each year. We produce civic collaborations like Stop HIV Stigma Interactive Theater Workshop with the CDC and Positive Impact Health Centers to help lift the stigma of HIV testing and treatment among young men of color. And Art as Power with the Georgia Attorney General's Office, the Department of Education, and the Council for the Arts, as well as nonprofits Well Street Living and Street Grace, to increase child sex trafficking awareness and prevention. And this is a program that serves Georgia middle school students at their schools. We also produce equitable dinners, setting the table for racial equity. And this is the program that we won the New York Times Award for in 2020. This is a partnership with the King Center, the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, and Partnership for Southern Equity, among many others. And Equitable Dinners is a free monthly online series addressing a different racial equity topic each month with a guest speaker, the performance of a new 10-minute play written in consultation with that guest speaker, and facilitated small group conversations in Zoom breakout rooms. Equitable Dinners has already addressed anti-racism topics, including health, education, food, housing, poverty, criminal justice, and voting rights, with many more to come. And over 6,000 people have already taken part in these dinners, including Equitable Dinners' predecessor, Decatur Dinners, which was a live pre-COVID event where we had over 1,000 people participate in potluck dinners in these dinners in people's homes on one night. And in Equitable Dinners at Work events for companies including Coca-Cola, BlackRock, Emory, and Bain. And after the dinners, 98% of respondents say that they feel moved and they feel inspired to make a change.
Oh my gosh. That is some excellent work. And to win any award in 2020 in the deep of the pandemic, I mean, that's a feat. So we really, really appreciate all of that and the intersections of so many social issues that you named. That's awesome. Very, very awesome work. And speaking of A Good Day, we do have a short documentary we'd like to show. Wanna go to that?
Absolutely. So yes, as you said, Ebony, in addition to running Out of Hand, I also serve on the Advancement Committee for Families First, and I'm also a foster mother myself.
Oh my gosh.
So I've seen up close the toll that poverty and systemic racism can take on some of Atlanta's most vulnerable families. So I was so excited to get to work on this project with Families First, to partner with them to make a short film to shed light on their important work and on the needs of some of the families who they serve. So the film is called A Good Day, and it was written by Atlanta's own Amina McIntyre. And I think we're going to see just the first few minutes.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go to that.
Ooh, ooh. Hello? Yeah, sure. I'll be right there. Hey, Tori. You wanna come on back? I wasn't expecting you and your mom until later. Sit. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. I wanted to talk to you alone for a minute, but it's supposed to be a good day, right? Right? The most exciting day, number 16. Finally manish. I can get my license. Well, my friends all will, not me, not yet. The world ain't ready for me yet. I can work now though, for real, for real. Maybe a little something more than McDonald's. I'm trying to get on that Foot Locker or a clothing store, for the discount. That way I can get some fresh things for the low. But still need my MARTA card. But I'm gonna look straight on that bus and that school, so. Can also replace things quicker if they get stolen. Yeah, being out here is hard. Look, I know you know, Miss Nina. You've been working with us for a while. And I'm with my mom, and it's been nice.
Good.
Even when we had to do the mother-child thing at City of Refuge. It worked for a good while. And we've remained hopeful. But I'm turning 16, and a 16-year-old boy can't stay with the women and children. So I'm gonna have to separate from my mom, at least at night. But between work and school and the shelter line, I don't know how often I'll be able to see her in the middle of the week. I don't want to be away from her again. And I know I don't have to tell you that's not the best option. I mean, we did so much to get her here. Like when she used to have her spells. Help her with her meds. Yeah, she works so hard sometimes she forgets to. Man, I just want to stay with my mom.
Sounds like you and your mom been talking about some options.
Yeah, we talked about some things. Well, what would be our worst case scenario? Well, which place? Mission is better than Peachtree and Pine used to be. But some are still wild. I'd take Tent City if it means we could stay together. It might actually be safer for me and my stuff. I just don't want... Look, I don't want to experience lights out without my mom, and I don't want to wake up with my stuff moved or my ID somewhere. I mean, you know how hard it is to replace that stuff. I'm sorry. I was talking to Quan about it.
Yeah?
My foster brother. Yeah, we still talk because we're the same age, and he stayed with the Joneses when I left, but he knows about this life. Like, he knows how tough it is. Tougher than I had it. And I don't want to know anything about that life. Like, I mean, how would I do homework without homework time? Or what if it's too noisy? Or what if they put me in with grown men? I already had to stop running track and playing football. Practices run too late. Look, I want to help, but how? It doesn't seem like I legally do anything, but that's why I'm here, talking to you without my mom, so I can see the other options. how soon will we know where we are on the wait list? I mean, they gotta let us in the program. And I know I'm under 18, and I know 16 is old enough, but not. But if the shelters consider me a man, I think I should be able to ask for housing. And I'm willing to work. Maybe I can do the job training program at WorkSource. I know I can do the work. I can be a star student there too. I just want us in a better situation. I got plans. I'm a good student, but we need some things right now. If you could just help us out. It's the only wish I have for my birthday.
Wow, that is powerful. That is an excellent short video there. Can you give me just a recap of it and how it's been received by the community?
Yeah, so after this part, you meet the mom who, just like the son, comes in to talk to the counselor privately without the son hearing. And then finally at the end, you get to see them together and find out that the mom is just as smart and hardworking as the son, and that she wants just as badly for them to be together. She's, if anything, even more worried about the son than he is, or than he is worried about her. And I think, that what a lot of people have learned by watching this is that homelessness doesn't always look the way that you usually see it in the movies, or that it's often portrayed in the media. And that these people could be anybody, anybody could be these people. They aren't different than you or me. And then for people who have had lived experiences that are more similar to this, we find that they really want to share those experiences in the conversation that follows, because just like our shows in homes, we always show this short movie, and then DePriest or one of the other amazing people from Families First and I will have a conversation with the audience where they get to ask questions and talk about their experience afterwards. And people who have had experiences, anything like this, will want to talk about them because they could, finally somebody wants to listen.
Absolutely. And that's very important, just to have that listening ear. Very, very important. Thank you so much, Ariel. We're going to have some questions for you a little bit later, but we'd like to introduce another one of our panelists at this time, Mr. DePriest Waddy. Mr. Waddy, how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Ebony. How are you this morning?
I'm very good, thank you. You are the Chief Executive Officer at Families First. You have 30 plus years of executive experience, leadership experience with nonprofits and Fortune 500 corporations in strategic fundraising, operations, and marketing. Big jobs, really, really big jobs. Thank you so much for being here.
A lot of work.
Yes, it is. Good work though. Fulfilling work, I would imagine.
It's great work.
Good. And speaking of that, tell us a little bit about your work with Families First and the impact of it on the west side of Atlanta.
Sure, be happy to. So good morning, Westside Future Fund family. It's great to see everyone. Thanks for having us this morning. We over the last 131 years, we've had a number of donors and supporters, and I'm sure many of you are on this call with us this morning, and we appreciate everything that you do for us. I have a nugget to celebrate, and I want to congratulate the Families First team and our Chief Operating Officer, Julio Carrillo, whom you all know. Recently, we just went through our periodic deep dive audit review through the Council on Accreditation, and we received our letter over the last week. They actually came in and over a 30-day period, looked at our financials, looked at our buildings and our facilities, analyzed our programs, looked at our strategic plan that Frank Fernandez and John Allman and Dr. Ford helped us to design with our board, and just love what we're doing. And I'm just happy to announce that we received a perfect score, 100 out of 100. So we are just really, really thrilled with that nugget of news. So thank you so much for celebrating that with us.
Excellent.
But, we meet families where they are, and that's the nuance of our work. you know, we're really happy that we have Raising Expectations now in our building and having over 100 children coming in every day, and having Tangi and Maria to help navigate those lives of those kids in Atlanta Public Schools. And we see this work being done every day. And now we're able to support those families for when those children, for when they go home. And so our work is very vast. So at the base of our work is our mental health team. We got 15 clinicians. We have a waiting list of individuals, especially due to COVID, who need mental health support. And they're trying to get back to work. And some of them who are at work are trying not to get fired. And so we are really using this as an opportunity to help employers to understand that, you know, this is very, very fragile work, and our families are very fragile, as you can see from the video that Ariel just so masterfully put together. So, you know, we started as an orphanage 131 years ago, and we still do this work in adoption and foster care and finding forever homes for children and youth. We actually placed 10 kids in forever homes during COVID. Wow. So it was a real blessing that some families were looking at their family structures and allowing that expansion. We've got a national curriculum on parenting where we work with the court systems around the United States to get these curricula in the hands of individuals who are mandated to take them. And then boots on the ground, we have a second chance home for girls who have been trafficked and who've been pregnant, some as young as 13 years old. And we're helping them to get back on their feet. And as you can imagine, during COVID, it was no small feat to keep these moms and their babies safe. And we actually had to put a bubble around them so that no one got infected, and we were very, very successful. So with them and then our 50 families in transitional housing, collectively, we touch 16,000 families a year through our work.
Oh, gosh. That is excellent. It's just so much work being done during 2020. Like, we're kind of coming out of the pandemic now, but, you know, it's not over. But in 2020, I mean, we were in the absolute thick of it. And so that's when this work is needed even more, but it's even harder to deliver. So awesome work, awesome job. And I know you guys have a thing called the Navigator Care Model. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, the Navigator Care Model is part of our new strategic vision for Families First. And at its core, it was actually inspired by an 8-year-old boy who came into our lobby in distress with his parents. So right before COVID hit, we had this family, mom, dad, 2 boys, one 8-year-old, the other 13, 14 years old. And they came in our lobby as a last resort because they had been living in their car for 2 months. And so, you know, immediately we galvanized around them. But what stuck with us is this 8-year-old little boy said, "Why did my parents get me out of foster care to bring me to live in a car for 2 months? They could have just left me in foster care." And it just broke our hearts. And so and so the first thing that we did was we gave them some basic needs. We sent them to Quincy's and Dan Cathy's restaurant, Chick-fil-A, got them some food in their tummies. They came back, they were able to take a shower, and we had some resources in a clothing closet to get them some clean clothes. And then our friends at the Salvation Army was able to give them some temporary housing, and we put them up in a hotel for 2 days. And so it inspired our strategic plan going into COVID, because we asked ourselves, how can we strategically partner in the community to make sure that we can scale this and replicate it over and over again? And so this is an answer to our social equity, our answer to how we address social injustice. We want to make sure that we're partnering collaboratively to make sure that our families have access in short term to medical care, and then long term to a livable wage job with benefits and a 401k, and then ultimately safe housing, building up to the ability to have a forever home and to build equity in a home through home ownership. So we're really, really excited about this Navigator Care Model being able to work with us and our community leaders to inspire how we galvanize these few resources that we have and have them laser focused around getting our families back on their feet.
Walking her way over.
Oh. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was just an awesome message. Sorry, we had just a little bit of a thing here in the studio. We got it taken care of. I am back. I was freaking out a little bit, so please excuse me. I am so sorry.
That's quite all right.
You know, it's live. Things happen, right? Okay. So I noticed a theme. I did a little bit of research on the background of Families First. Resilience. That's what I'm hearing a lot. Can you tell me how the Navigator Care model, how that ties into building resilience for families?
Well, you know, resilience at its core is the ability of a family or an individual to snap back after life happens, and we all know what that looks like.
Absolutely.
You know, I can have a flat tire, and I don't know how to change it. I'll call AAA. But some of the families we serve are not as fortunate. They can have a flat tire, and at the end of the day, they've lost the job. They've, lost childcare, and in some cases lost a home.
Absolutely.
And so when we look at resilience, we look at this family, and in many cases, it's a family that is a single parent household family, and we know that we can't change an individual's but we can change their behaviors, and it takes a lot of work to do that. But back in the day, we worked and focused on the child, and we would put resource after resource into the child. But then if mom and dad weren't stable, then those resources didn't particularly stick. And so in this model, we're beginning with the caregivers, and we're making sure that we're assessing their resilience through a new evidence-informed model that we designed, with some of the folks on the panel, Dr. Valentine and Elizabeth and others, and they'll get into that. But we're going to measure that resilience, and we want to measure as many folks as we can, because it's going to tell a story and help our community. And as we sit at the table and figure out where to deploy resources, we'll know who's ready for work right away versus who might need some conditioning before they get out there and waste the opportunity of a job by being out there too early.
That's true.
And so this data in our CQI database, which has been expansive with our friends at TechBridge helping us to design the portal that you'll see, we'll be gathering data from across Georgia, and we're even testing it outside of Georgia in other states. And it's going to help us to figure out why some individuals are able to bounce back quicker than others. And then it'll give us some information around what we need to work with them on, and for them to get better and stronger.
Absolutely. And you mentioned TechBridge. I'm actually a graduate of TechBridge, of the TechBridge Coding Bootcamp. Yes. So everything always just comes full circle here working with Westside Future Fund.
It comes full circle. It takes a village, right?
Yes, absolutely. It certainly does. It certainly does. And speaking of resilience, I think we do have a package, a short video that is going to talk a little bit more about resilience and that Navigator Care model. And can you go ahead and cut to that?
Yes, let's do it.
Thank you.
We know that we're going to have difficult times in our lives. Everyone has difficult times. And when you think of somebody who is resilient, you're thinking of someone who can respond to those difficult times.
You live and you learn, and you have to become smarter and stronger and keep pushing.
You got to see the positive in a negative situation. If you don't give up, you can go further.
Resiliency is how we keep going despite the trials and tribulations.
Resiliency is the callus that we build in our minds to be able to bounce back from adversities.
Being able to get up and dust yourself off and keep moving forward.
It means fighting. Our clients come in with the fight. The resilience takes place when they know they have stability.
The biggest challenge for our clients, it will be getting to the starting point where they understand that there is hope, that their situation can change. In the past, you either were a resilient person or you were not. Now we understand, based out of scientific discoveries, that resiliency is actually something that we could develop.
We know that resiliency is something that is innate, that you're born with, but it also can be built upon, and an adult can model that with their child.
Resilience is very important to assess because we need to know where we are at and where we can be. The Connor-Davidson is a validated scale on an international level where we are able to use that data to measure if the intervention that we are doing is working, and it also serves as a guide on what to do depending on the scale of needs. One's ability to be able to see themselves in the future and feel that they have hope and to strive in the community that they're in.
For 130 years, Families First has always been trying to move families from surviving to thriving. I think what is different now is helping you build the skills through resiliency to respond to those difficult times.
Navigator is different from what we've done in the past because we haven't measured resiliency. It's a game changer for clients because it's going to walk that client from the bottom of the steps to the top of the steps with services. We're going to be holding their hand. So if that community partner doesn't call you back, we're going to call them.
So as navigators at intake, we're able to see their assessments and see exactly where they need our assistance, because we want to know where they came from, any trauma they've experienced, and we reach out to our resources immediately as soon as they're placed to get them the support that they need.
The Navigator model, it not only focuses on mental health well-being or social problems resolution, but it also asks, what's next in your life? And putting that positive reality in someone that has a history of suffering, it means everything.
We identify their resources, family support, friends, anything like that, and basically map out a timeline of once they leave here, what they plan to have accomplished. So we pretty much do the transitional part.
The young ladies are able to look at a future. What happens when I leave this home? How do we get you employed? Where's your child care? And that takes a navigator to do that. We're just doing the work we did before, we're just doing it better. We're wrapping care around our clients 100% holistically.
They have that chance to prove to them, I can do it. They want to leave out of here and say, hey, look at me now. You know, I bent, but I didn't break.
Raising Expectations is a youth development organization located inside the Families First facility space right now. We are working in a partnership with the Family Navigators, and we're excited about it because for us, it's been about finding partners that share our philosophical approach.
One of the things that we've learned throughout the years is that you have to be able to tag partners in to help with issues that are not your focal areas. And so Families First is one of those partners.
The particular families that we've referred for the Navigator program is because we feel like the root of the challenges exists more with the parents than the kids. The parents may need parenting skills, or maybe the parent needs to go to therapy, or maybe the parent needs support services so they can be better parents.
We need organizations and partners that understand what it means to be a part of a collective impact. So it's exciting to be able to be in a partnership with a nonprofit partner that understands that and is leveraging the strengths of both nonprofits to move the community, and more importantly, the families that you're supporting forward.
And I think that's why it's really cool that we get to be support people. We get to be community linkage to other programs and providers and tools. But then we get to watch them grow.
When they can start fighting for employment and stability for their family, that's where the resilience comes in.
From building up self-esteem to being able to overcome past traumas, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Find those necessary resources that you need and actually accept them and use them.
3.
That's awesome. You guys got some awesome videos, good material in there. And the one thing she said that definitely stood out was when she said she bent, but she did not break. And that to me is like, you know, the definition of resilience. You just keep moving, you keep going through it all. Thank you so much. I'm gonna actually introduce the rest of the panel now. We have Mr. John Kennebrew, who is the Behavioral Health Clinical Manager, founder and CEO of the Showcase Group, professor at Clark Atlanta University, and he has over 10 years plus of clinical and leadership roles. John also, over the last 5 years, accumulated a significant amount of honors, awards, and recognition for his work. Mr. John Kennebrew, how are you doing this morning?
Great.
Good, good. We also have, sorry, just a minute. Just getting my bearings here. Ms. Elizabeth Messick Banks, Director of Quality Improvement and Performance Measurement. She graduated from Emory University with her master's in public health from the Behavioral, Social, and Health Education Sciences Department. Wow. Developed and implemented agency-wide data management and quality improvement processes for Families First. Elizabeth, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing well.
Good,
Thank you.
good. And we also have, last but certainly not least, Dr. Edward Ballantine, the clinical director, has over a decade as a clinical social work leader, served in the military for over a decade. Appreciate your service, thank you for that, and has contributed to science from the Whitney M. Young School of Social Work and also at the Emory School of Medicine, Department of Neurology, ranging from a variety of different roles. Dr. Ballantine, thank you so much for being here this morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's an honor. Not only, this is an honor because I'm very honored to be the clinical director over at Families First, serving this community, but also the fact that this community did educate me, though I'm a neuroscientist and noted around the world. However, it was Clark Atlanta University that educated me in my PhD from there because this community accepted me and I felt like I belonged.
Absolutely, AUC, a university center. I just want to ask you, we'll start off with, how do you measure the resiliency?
Well, we measure resiliency using the various tools, but the baseline tool that we use for every single program that we have is called the Families First Resiliency Needs Screening. It's a 14-item screening tool that we use not only for behavioral health, but other human services and employment readiness. And it the scoring that we utilize is that anybody with a score that is 42, this is just an example, 42 and below, will be considered in the needs threshold where we are going to be conducting different levels of intervention and prevention models in order to help not only the children but family. You know, we see resiliency in two ways at Families First. The one part of resiliency that we see mostly that is innate to all of us is the survival mode, right? And we see that in all of our families, and we could consider that a lot more. All of our families that come in are particularly resilient, but they're in survival. Now, the one that is that we focus on is getting the one that is not so much of the survival mode and organic, but more of the striving. So the FFRNS will help us know what level or what acuity level of care we need to customize to different family needs.
Awesome, awesome. And I know that, I think Dupree said earlier, so when you're measuring people and they seem to need a little bit more work before they're sent out in the workforce, you don't waste, for the lack of a better term, a job on someone who does need a little bit more assistance. So that measurement sounds like it is very powerful as far as getting people ready and sending the right candidates out for the job. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. And we do have a question for Elizabeth. Tell us more about your resiliency community portal. And I think we have some visuals for that, if we can put those up. And just tell us how it's being used by the community partners.
Yes, so our Families First Resiliency Needs Screening, we have created a community portal, which is a web-based resiliency screening collection site, essentially. And the portal really assists with our community partners to measure their clients' resiliency so that we can get an overall understanding of community resiliency levels, family resiliency levels, as well as individual level of resiliency. And I actually put together a few slides, so we can go to the first slide, give you a sneak preview of what that portal looks like. This is the resiliency dashboard. And this dashboard provides our partners with two primary things. Firstly, it allows them to examine their agency's resiliency scores and look for trends in resiliency needs and strengths. And it also allows you to sort by age categories, by county, by zip code, to really examine different levels different levels of resiliency within the community. And then next slide. The second thing it provides is the ability to look at individual clients' change in resiliency scores over time. And so that really helps to measure their clients' progress and also determine the agency's impact and how to better serve the communities that need these different types of services that agencies like Families First and Raising Expectations provide. And we'll go to the next slide. We're going to just walk you through, just very briefly, what the client sees when they access this portal. So this portal allows for links to be emailed or done right there on site within the agency to clients, and they'll see a consent form. This basically allows us to get their permission to use this data in a confidential way, and also states that we're going to protect their privacy. And we can go to the next slide. And then they agree to it, and this is actually the Families First Resiliency Needs Screening. As Dr. Valentin said, it's a 14-question tool, really intended to measure different levels of psychosocial resiliency, but also be easily understandable and user-friendly. And so on the next slide, the last thing that the portal provides is it auto-calculates the score and indicates how much resiliency need and the need for intervention that each individual client needs. And that allows the agencies to utilize this information to refer them for services or determine what types of interventions might be most appropriate for them. And also, it provides our community partners with an easy way to begin strengthening that psychosocial resiliency, with the ultimate purpose of not only collecting this data, but also to improve their health and well-being. Wow. So that's how we're using the portal.
Got you. That is some spectacular research. And I like how you get granular. You know, we say the Westside, and then we say, divide that up into neighborhoods, AUC, English Avenue, Vine City, but then also to kind of do it by zip codes. So I know I live in 30314, and I believe 30318 is also a big part of the West Side. So it may show different types of research and different demographics if you divide it up by not only the West Side, but neighborhoods and then also zip codes as well. Some awesome research and giving you some awesome insight, it sounds like. Thank you. Yeah. Our next question is for John, Mr. John Kennebrew. You and your team has hit the streets on the West Side. You've been knocking on doors, talking to neighbors, really getting the pulse of the community, and particularly during COVID. And tell me how families have been affected. What did you find out about how families have been affected, especially during COVID?
Thank you, Ebony. Yes, where Families First is focused now is really often health services. And so, as the coronavirus and the control, what we're hearing from our various partners, clients that are coming in, it's inducing a considerable worry, concern, the population at large. And so, among certain groups, in particular, such as older adults, care providers, and people with underlying health conditions, they're expressing that they're having elevated rates of stress and anxiety. And so Families First has a term out there called Stump the Stigma, and we're really doing that around mental health because we're doing that in a way that we're spreading the word throughout what's called choice neighborhoods on the West Side. And we are connecting with our families. We're going door to door, and we're speaking with individuals and giving out information about the various services that we have at Families First, but especially about behavioral health services. And it's been creating a great deal of impact, especially during quarantine. It's affected so many people's usual activities through their livelihood. We are seeing levels of loneliness, depression, harmful alcohol and drug use, self-harm, suicidal behavior. All of these things are on the rise due to the climate right now. So Ultimately, that's why we had a big community block party, and that was sparked by having this need to create awareness right here in our surrounding neighborhood regarding the various services we offer at Families First. Again, special focus on behavioral health services. We've been fortunate to have a Choice Neighborhoods grant, and this grant supports efforts to really revitalize the former University Homes public housing site and 3 residential neighborhoods, the Atlanta University Center, Asheville Heights, and Vine City, who we were just talking about. And so this block party, it brought out about 300 people on the west side. They were able to attend and hear from speakers and get performances, and it helped to create a great deal of awareness around mental health. And we were even able to screen their resiliency on site and determine which individuals, which families presented a need for mental health treatment. And so all of our various programs were on site during the block party, and people got to learn a lot about Families First services and actually engage and learn even more about our navigator services. So we're grateful to all of our partners coming on board and supporting our efforts.
Yes.
They truly resonated with the crowd and making the impact that resulted in this.
That as well. That Rock the Block party looks like it really was rocking. That looks very nice. And we're going to go ahead and show the Unity movie trailer now. And I'd like to thank all the panelists. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's early in the morning, it's Friday, but I hope we kicked off your weekend pretty good for you. So now if we could go to the Unity video. Thank you.
Unity is
such a special word.
It's an attempt to achieve collective harmony.
People of all different backgrounds working together as one.
To support each other.
To share in laughter or in tears.
Coming together despite our differences.
Leveraging our commonality.
Creating more social equity.
It's about being part of something bigger than yourself.
Our shared fate, values, aspirations, and goals bind us tighter together.
Unity is essential to sparking change
that provides the opportunity for peace and freedom.
Unity is in everything we do.
Life is just so much better when we have unity.
Families first. Unity makes the difference, and it certainly does. We have Mr. John Amman here with us. Hey, John. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ebony. Thanks for hosting our show this morning.
No problem.
Leading our panel discussion.
I'm always happy.
Well, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So we met you via our program, our anti-displacement program.
Absolutely.
And you live in English Avenue.
I do.
And you got more and more involved with us. First started with a testimonial.
Yes.
Then you started helping us with our summit. So how is it?
I cannot believe I'm here. Every time that I come here, I'm like, I cannot believe it has, as John has said, just grown and evolved to me, really just starting out as a client, which again, thank you very much for that. I am a part of the Anti-Displacement Tax Fund. They do pay my tax increases in English Avenue for 20 years. Awesome program. And now I'm here and I'm literally like, people call me, I don't refer to myself that way, as the face of the West Side of Atlanta. So I am very grateful for the opportunity, John, and I'm grateful that you guys keep inviting me back. So as long as you'll have me, I'll be here.
Well, I think if you're the face of the West Side, how can we not do that?
Hey, I guess so. Yeah, you got a point.
Right.
I'll be here as long as you'll have me.
And so for y'all kind of set me up for my final thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my final thoughts is just want to say thank you. Mm-hmm. And I see Benjamin over there. I want to say thank you, doing a great job for us. He's getting ready to bring up the talent. But also want to just thank everyone that's helped bring us our show this morning, including we started with Paige Gaines leading us through a meditation. Thank you. I need to do more of that myself. And I also want to thank Pastor Hurst, who led us with our devotional. And he said some great points as a reminder of how we all work together. And one thing he really said that really, I actually wrote down because it struck with me, is a mind to work. So as he drew from the lessons of Nehemiah about rebuilding community, a mind to work and to remain faithful to our obligation.
Absolutely.
And so I really appreciate everyone here this morning, and especially appreciate our guests this morning with Families First,
yes,
who definitely have a mind to work,
yes,
and have remained faithful to their obligation. I know Deprice Wadi, the leader of Family First, thank you for being on our show this morning, along with Ariel, Dr. Edward Valentine, and John Kinnebro, along with Elizabeth Messick-Banks. So thank all of y'all. And when COVID hit, and various not-for-profits that work on the West Side were coming together, Families First was one that really, stepped up with their programs to reach out, especially to a lot of the youth on the West Side. Yeah. So thank you, Deprice, and I know you're taking Families First to another level.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that we want to give an update on as part of rebuilding community on the West Side is our Home on the West Side program. So I think what we're going to bring up, and we always want to be just transparent about where we are. So one of the big parts of the collective effort is bringing on more high quality, affordable housing, especially affordable housing for those that live and work in the West Side. And one of the things that's the good news is with more jobs coming to the downtown, to Donnelly-Howell corridor, to the MLK Drive corridor, that it also is pushing housing prices up. So why it's so critical in this collective effort that the Westside Future Fund, Atlanta Housing, Quest, and others are bringing on high quality, affordable housing. And so you can see where our scorecard is right now in terms of bringing more high quality housing online. And unfortunately, we don't have enough to meet the demand through our Home on the West Side program. Our next slide shows, kind of where we are in terms of verifying people for Home on the West Side. So all the housing done by the Westside Future Fund, folks who are going in it have to meet criteria along our community retention guidelines. So you can see the number of folks we have, verified, and the number of folks, we're putting into our housing. So we're bringing on housing, more housing this year through our Home on the West Side program. But what's critical for us to be able to move faster and to continue to build community is philanthropic support. So I think from my last slide is we always encourage donations.
Please.
The vast majority of the funds we raise are going right into our housing program, whether that's our anti-displacement tax fund program, helping deliver high quality rental, or helping people get into homes via down payment assistance, as well as helping support other organizations. Because back to a mind to work, remain faithful to our obligation is that community retention. So the folks on the West Side, as that tide rises, can be a part of the economic wins. So thank you for the support this morning. I know we got an exciting program coming up.
Yes, we do.
I do want to
announce the raffle winners.
Oh, the winner
first. Yes, we definitely cannot forget them. They've been tuned in. They did what they're supposed to do and submitted their names. So the raffle winner for the Home Depot gift card is Mr. Curtis Augustine. Mr. Curtis Augustine, you will receive a Home Depot gift card and compliments of Goodwill of North Georgia. They're also giving something away today, gift card. Miss Caroline Dixon has won that. And yes, as far as donating, I am here, living proof. The donations go directly to the residents of the West Side. So yes, please donate. Just want to reiterate what John has said. And I guess with no further ado,
we're going to bring back Benjamin and some great musical talent.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations again to our gift card winners. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Westside Rising Vibe, which is a platform for local creatives and artists, regardless of the medium, to showcase their gifts, increase their network and audience, while all strengthening a sense of community here on the West Side. And today's featured act is Eli I Am and Nene Nicole. How are y'all doing this morning?
I'm good, man.
All right, all right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. So let's start with you, Eli. Let's talk a little bit about your background. I know you coming from being a jazz vocalist and you're putting out music, not just with jazz, but you're also an actress, model, but your focus now is R&B, I understand it. So just talk about that transition coming from the jazz background.
You know, it was quite a transition coming from jazz. I did that for 12 years and I was doing American standards. So that's music from the 20s up to the 60s, including bossa nova.
Oh, wow.
So it was interesting to jump over into this lane. It wasn't too different for me just because I love music and it's universal, but it was different. New crowd. My crowd went from 50 and up to like 18 and up. So, you know, but it was all love.
Gotcha.
It was all love.
And Nene, let's talk about like what it's been for you, your journey, building up your skills as a lyricist, building up your skills as a performer. How have you experienced your trajectory sort of increase over the last few years with all of the music that you've been putting out recently?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually started off as doing poetry, and then after that it transitioned to spoken word, and then after that it transitioned into the music. Over the years, it definitely has been like different as far as like the base, your fan base or whatnot. Just figuring out like who rock with you in regards to, the music, and then it's kind of different on the poetry side as well. But no, it's definitely dope. I love everybody, man, who's been rocking with me.
Y'all check the cap now. This straight Atlanta right now. This is straight Atlanta. West Side shouted.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. I love it. Well, I'm not gonna hold y'all, man. Y'all take the floor, do your thing. I know you're gonna knock them dead. We appreciate y'all joining again. And also, artists, if you want to be a part of the Westside Rising Vibe, shoot us a DM. We're on social. Reach out to us. We'd love to have you on. Again, it's all about showcasing the talent that's here on the West Side and Greater Atlanta. So definitely stay in tune with us, and we'll get right back to you. All right. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. ready to vibe out?
I'm ready. You ready, Frank?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Hey, K, play that, play that, play that, play that, play that.
Hey, what's up? You reached Eli. So I couldn't get to the phone, but if you please leave your name, number, or just shoot me a text.
Somebody called me earlier, but I was still asleep. You let the phone ring for a good second or 2 or 3. Private bill collectors looking for my money to keep. Oh, well, I'm broke. They'll call back later this week. Am I okay? Yeah. And now you okay? Yeah. Guess we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now. And am I okay? Yeah. And now you okay? Yeah. Guess we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now. Yeah. Later on, I took the L to find something to eat. I heard some young girls spitting a some funky new beat. On the corner, she stood, a cup of her hands, offering her words of struggle. Am I okay? Yeah. And are you okay? Yeah. Guess we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now. And am I okay? Yeah. And now you okay? Yeah. Yes, we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now.
Yeah. Thank God we even beat the odds, we even beat the lies, we even beat the fear of what we internalize. I fight for him, I fight for her, I fight for all of mine. I'm in a place of no space and time. I know you tired of trying. 2 jobs, 2 kids, girl, I see it in your eyes. You laugh, you love, yeah, and you always try to hide, but never budge, even on the budget. Student loans, you can't afford it. Tired of working hard, hardly getting paid nothing. Treat you wrong and sweat, that minimum wage is something. But look at the way the freedom that starts to like the Eden. Let love be the reason if you ever feel it, leave it. No handouts, so I know you never be defeated. And keep going, cause you know you got a greater meaning. And keep fighting, cause you know you gotta face your demons. And live on, and don't forget to ask your people.
Are you okay? Yeah. Said, are you okay? Yeah. Guess we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now. And am I okay? Am I okay? Yeah. And are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah. Yes, we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now.
Yeah. Again, my name is Eli. I am
Nene Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you.